Okay, so let's dive into some pretty major news today.
Yeah.
President Trump just signed an executive order demanding the declassification
Oh, wow.
of all remaining documents related to the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and MLK Jr. We've got articles from AP and Fox News breaking it all down.
Okay.
Think of this deep dive as your shortcut to understanding not just what's in these documents,
Right.
what it might reveal about these pivotal moments in history and why it matters today.
It's certainly a fascinating move, especially considering the timing.
Yeah.
This order comes right after Trump's second-term inauguration
Uh-huh.
and amidst a flurry of other executive actions.
It definitely feels deliberate,
Yeah.
like a way to capture attention and maybe even signal a shift in his administration's approach to transparency.
Potentially. But let's unpack what we know from these articles.
Okay.
The order itself, signed today, January 23rd, 2025,
Right.
calls for a pretty rapid release of these documents.
Wow.
Trump's stated goal is transparency and truth. But the real question is what kind of impact this release might have.
And the implications go way beyond just satisfying public curiosity.
Right.
Although that's definitely a big part of it.
Yeah,
These assassinations had a profound impact on American
they
history,
did.
shaping the civil rights movement, the political landscape, and even our collective sense of trust in government.
Absolutely. So let's start with JFK.
Okay.
The official story, as you likely know,
Right.
points to Lee Harvey Oswald as the lone gunman.
Mm-hmm.
But conspiracy theories have swirled around this case for decades.
For sure.
What's interesting is that even though only a few thousand JFK documents remain classified,
Yeah.
there's this lingering hope that they could hold the key to unlocking some hidden truth.
The AP article highlights a detail that's particularly intriguing.
Oh.
CIA cables and memos discussing Oswald's visits to the Soviet and Cuban embassies in Mexico City just weeks before the assassination.
Interesting.
It makes you wonder what else might be lurking in those unreleased files. Could these documents reveal the extent of CIA surveillance on Oswald,
Yeah.
their assessment of his potential threat, and whether any red flags were missed?
I see.
This could provide insight into the intelligence failures that may have contributed to the assassination.
It's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
And remember, as Larry Sabato,
Yep.
the director of the University of Virginia Center for Politics, points out, even a single document could be the tiny tip of a much larger iceberg.
Wow.
Imagine the potential impact if that iceberg were to be fully revealed.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Some people believe that Oswald was a patsy,
Right.
a low-level operative manipulated by powerful forces. Others point to potential involvement of organized crime or even rogue elements within the government itself.
These theories have persisted for decades,
Right.
fueled by inconsistencies in the official narrative
Yeah.
and a general distrust of government pronouncements.
The idea that something more sinister was at play is a powerful one. And these newly released documents could either confirm or debunk some of these long-held suspicions.
Yeah.
For instance, if documents revealed a credible connection between Oswald and the Cuban government, it could drastically shift our understanding of the events leading up to JFK's assassination.
And it's important to remember that this declassification order doesn't just cover JFK.
Right.
It also mandates the release of files related to RFK and MLK Jr.'s assassinations.
That's right. While there was a congressional mandate for the release of the JFK files, stemming from the work of the Assassination Records Review Board in the 1990s, there wasn't a similar mandate for the RFK or MLK Jr. files.
Right.
The inclusion of these other cases in the order is significant.
It is.
While there were convictions in both cases,
Yeah.
Sirhan for RFK and James Earl Ray for MLK,
Right.
lingering doubts and alternative theories persist.
They do.
While the JFK assassination dominates public consciousness, the declassification order also encompasses these two other pivotal figures, RFK and MLK Jr.
Yeah.
Their assassinations, though seemingly resolved, continue to raise questions.
Think about it in the case of RFK. Some believe that Sirhan was hypnotized or acted as part of a larger conspiracy.
And in the case of MLK Jr., many question whether James Earl Ray acted alone or if there were other forces at play, possibly even involving government agencies.
These declassifications could provide new evidence to support or refute these claims.
Okay.
We might uncover connections, motives,
Right.
or even cover-ups that were previously hidden from public view.
That's like we're on the verge of rewriting history.
It is.
Or at least adding crucial footnotes to some of its most tragic chapters.
Yeah.
And with RFK Jr. nominated as health secretary.
Oh, right.
The potential release of documents related to his own father's assassination adds another layer of complexity to the story.
It's certainly an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Kennedy Jr. has been outspoken about his skepticism.
All right.
Surrounding the lone gunman theory in his uncle's assassination. He even met with Sirhan in prison.
Wow.
Further fueling speculation about his beliefs regarding his own father's death.
Yeah.
Now imagine the potential impact if documents emerge that shed new light on RFK's assassination, while his son holds a prominent position in the administration.
It's a lot to unpack, but beyond the immediate political intrigue, there's a deeper, more human element to consider. We're talking about the potential for families of these iconic figures to have their long-held beliefs about their loved ones' deaths challenged or even shattered.
It's a point that often gets lost amidst all the speculation and conspiracy theories.
For sure.
These were real people with real families who have carried the weight of these losses for decades.
Absolutely. Imagine being a member of the Kennedy family or the King family and suddenly having access to information that fundamentally changes your understanding of what happened to your father or brother. It's a heavy burden to bear.
And it reminds us that history isn't just something we read about in textbooks. It's lived experience passed down through generations, shaping individual lives and perspectives.
So with all this in mind, what does this all mean for those listening? Why should we care about a bunch of old documents being declassified?
Well, for one thing, this has the potential to reshape our understanding of some of the most pivotal events in American history.
For sure.
It's a chance to grapple with questions that have lingered for generations, to separate fact from fiction, and maybe even find some measure of closure.
The Fox News article points out that Rep. Anna Paulina Luna praised the declassification, saying Americans deserve to know the truth, whether it makes the government look good or not.
It's a powerful statement, and it highlights the potential for this declassification to reignite debates about government transparency and the public's right to know. And remember, this isn't just about historical curiosity. These events continue to have repercussions today.
You mean they shape our political discourse?
Yes, and our understanding of social justice. And even our views on gun control.
For example, if documents reveal government misconduct or cover-ups, it could further erode public trust in institutions. And depending on what's revealed, it could also reignite debates about gun control or the role of government surveillance.
Exactly. It's like peeling back layers of a complex onion.
Wow.
Each new revelation could lead to more questions, more debate, and ultimately a more nuanced understanding of the past.
The sheer volume of information involved is staggering.
It is.
We're talking about millions of documents related to the JFK assassination alone. Not to mention the files for RFK and MLK Jr. Sifting through it all will be a monumental task for historians and researchers.
It's a massive undertaking, and it's bound to be controversial. Some people are going to see this as a long overdue act of transparency, while others will likely view it with suspicion, questioning the motives behind the release.
Some might even suggest that this is a distraction tactic by the administration? A way to divert attention from other issues?
That's a possibility. It's important to remember that even with full declassification, interpretation of these documents will be subjective. And debates about their significance will likely continue.
It's almost like opening Pandora's box.
It is.
We might get answers to long-standing questions, or we might uncover even more mysteries.
That's the nature of historical inquiry. We may never have all the answers, but the pursuit of truth is a journey worth taking.
And this deep dive is equipping you to participate in that journey. It feels like a real-life historical thriller unfolding before our eyes. With twists and turns we can't even anticipate yet.
It certainly has all the elements, and we're all invited to participate in the unraveling of this story. As these documents are released, it'll be up to each of us to sift through the information, evaluate the evidence, and draw our own conclusions.
That's a powerful reminder that history isn't static. It's constantly being reinterpreted and reshaped as new information comes to light.
And that's what makes this so exciting. We're on the verge of potentially rewriting our understanding of some of the most significant events in American history. Who knows what we might find, what connections might be revealed, what long-held beliefs might be challenged.
It can feel a bit daunting, to be honest.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin to process all of this?
Well, I think the first step is to approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Oh.
Don't just accept everything you read at face value, question the sources, consider the motives of those involved, and look for solid evidence to support the claims being made.
And as we've touched on, context is key.
Right.
These documents were created in a specific time and place, with particular political and social climates influencing their content. We need to understand that historical context.
Yeah.
To fully grasp the significance of what's being revealed.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to dive into the primary sources yourself.
Okay.
Don't just rely on the interpretations of others. Read the documents, examine the evidence, and form your own opinions.
That's what's so great about this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's giving you the tools and the context you need to be an active participant in this unfolding historical narrative.
It's not about passive consumption. It's about engaging with history, questioning assumptions, and coming to your own understanding of the past.
One thing is certain, this is a story that will continue to unfold.
It is.
And it's one worth paying attention to.
As we wait for the files to be released, here's something to consider.
Okay.
How might these revelations impact our current political landscape? Will they bring closure or fuel further division? This deep dive has given you the information. Now it's up to you to draw your own conclusions.
And that's what makes history so endlessly fascinating.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending conversation, a constant process of discovery and reinterpretation.
Absolutely.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Of course.
We'll certainly be following this story closely, and we can't wait to see what unfolds next.